Welcome out, guys. It's your man Cleveland Terry, and today we're going to do something a little different. Based upon my last video that you can see right up there, I did a little video about club life and what to expect when you're DJing at clubs and the software that most people use and why they use it. And after that video, well, I received a lot of backlash from virtual DJ supporters, virtual DJ users, and they had a lot of opinions on the software and the things that I said. So as I thought about what they said, I started thinking, you know what? They're right. I actually don't know virtual DJ like I should. So what I'm gonna do is, for the next couple of weeks, I'm gonna go ahead and buy Serato, I'm gonna go ahead and buy Virtual DJ Pro, and I'm going to do a thorough review of the product. I'm gonna compare it to the likes of Serato, the likes of Rekordbox, give my 2 cents on if it really is the best DJ software out there. Even though I'm going to do this review, I stand firm on my opinion about what people use in general, especially in Southern California, which is what the video was actually talked about. I also stand by my review of the methodology of the company, how they market their product, the things they say, and the vibe that they try to project about DJing as a whole. I still am not a fan of that, but I can always look past that for a good piece of software. I'm not stuck to any software. Rekordbox, Serato, Tractor, Virtual DJ, DJ Pro. It doesn't really matter to me as long as it gets the job done. So I'm going to see if this software can get the job done. So we're going to break this up into 3 videos. I think that it's important that we are thorough in each part of it, in each aspect of what the software does. So I'm going to break it down like this. I'm going to have my initial view, software, layout, visuals, all that stuff right off the bat. Next, we're going to do a actual live gig approach. I actually have 2 events on Saturday, so I'm going to use them both on that day, and we'll go from there. But like I said before, I'm very interested in seeing how good it is. I mean, there's a lot of people that swear by this, so we're going to see. Anyway, come along for the journey if you want. If you are a Serato DJ user and you don't care, skip the video, but I think it's really important that everybody knows a lot about everything. All right, guys. So having said all that, let's get into the studio and let's get it done. We're not gonna mess around. We're gonna go right to the program. We're gonna see what's going on, see what we like about it. So let's take it over here right now. So when you open up Virtual DJ for the first time, it brings up this little welcome screen layout. Now, this welcome screen layout is a dumbed down version of the software. It's designed for people that have never used DJ software to be able to at least not feel overwhelmed by the program. So what they've done is they've created just this nice little layout, simple layout with play and pause. And I mean, even the cue points don't even exist on screen. If you had started up for the first time, you would also see this box right here would pop up, which is this tutorial box. And it's going to kind of break down all the things that you can do with the software to kind of get acclimated with what Virtual DJ is. So I think that's fantastic for your new DJ. I can tell you right now, neither Rekordbox or Serato have these tutorials built in place. Yes, you can go online and you can find them, but right off the bat, the fact that they have them right here is fantastic. So I really appreciate them taking the time to make these videos. And the videos are good. I mean, they're pretty self-explanatory. They show you how to use the software. So I couldn't really ask for any more than that. Now, of course, because I've used DJ software before, they're pretty much all the same. So I'm gonna go over here and I'm just gonna take this back to the 2-deck mode. And now you can see that there's a lot more options in here. You have your cue points, you have your loops, you have your in and out settings for your loops, you have the master effects that are on here, you have your pitch fader here, and obviously the song deck. Not to mention your whole mix section right here, all complete with your high, your low, your filter, your channel fader right here, left and right. So if you'd seen my last video with Serato, they had come out with the new offline mode that allows you to DJ offline. Well, a lot of people in the comments said, Virtual DJ already does that. You know, Rekordbox already does that. And as you can see right here, Virtual DJ does do that. It already has everything built in. And the free version of Virtual DJ, that's pretty much what you get. You have a computer-based DJ platform. You don't have access to any of the controllers or any of the mixers, but you have access to all the software within Virtual DJ. So you can, in practice, DJ right off your computer without actually having a controller. Kudos to them. They were the first to bring it out there, and I think it's great. Over here we have your local folders, as I said, and you have your add favorite folders, you have your add virtual folder, and you have a filter section. This is what I really want to talk about, this local folders, because this actually shocked me. So if you open up your local folders, you got your desktop, you have your iTunes. What I didn't know that they were going to do, which is absolutely amazing, is that they actually included the Serato crates too. So in the Serato crates, you have everything that I've ever created in crates. When I first started DJing, I used iTunes exclusively for all of my playlists, my folders, everything. But then when I started using Serato, I realized that because of the delay in making adjustments to iTunes and it actually showing up in Serato properly without closing out the program and reopening it, I just decided, you know what, I'm just going to use Serato crates. It's easier. I can drag and drop my crates, playlists, make it easy, and then I don't have to think about it. But when I started going over to Rekordbox to not only review the software, but also use it because I was looking at the DDJ 1000 as an option, Rekordbox does not include a way for you to import your Serato crates. Yes, there is third-party software, which I have, Record Buddy, but it's not quite the same, and I've never been able to get a complete one-to-one transfer of all my files into Rekordbox. So it's actually prevented me from finishing up my review on Rekordbox because every time I start to use it, something happens within, you know, the course of an event, and I go back to Serato. This one has Serato crates built in, so it makes it really easy for me to transition from Serato to Virtual DJ, and that is amazing. Another thing that kind of surprised me, and I'm actually very impressed by, is the use of the touch bar on the Macs. Now, Serato doesn't use a touch bar on Macs. Everything is built into the keyboard system, which isn't a problem, but then we have this whole top bar that's unutilized. So if you go into here and you load up a deck, you can see right here that your hot cues, your effects, your options, your beat jump, your loop roll, your saved loops, your manual loops, your remix points, your key cue, your DMX, which is so cool, your scratch, back to custom, and then you're back to your cue loops. And that's all built into the touch bar. And the way it's set up right now is it's set up for one side. So in Virtual DJ, you have your left and your right. One is left, two is right. So as you can see, there's nothing on the other side, which is why there are no hot cues that are done. But this is so cool. Makes your job a whole lot easier. I do wish that the cue points maybe only had 4, so then you could do a left and right on the same cue point. So you could do 4 on the left deck and 4 on the right deck. That would make my life a lot easier. The keyboard support. It is a left and right side option for programming. So if you hit the tab button, you move over to the right deck. You hit the tab button again, you move over to the left deck. Since I come from a different background, I come from the Serato background, and I come from just naturally DJing vinyl. Having to make a mental note to change which deck I'm controlling is a little bit counterintuitive for me. I do prefer having all the keys on the main keyboard. So like with Serato, the top row of keys is Q through, you know, this backslash, that's the left deck. And the A through the return, that's the right deck. So everything's kind of available to you right at that time, and I do prefer that. Now, I know that there is a whole hotkey scripting on the back end of this that I can change and modify all of my keyboard shortcuts. I understand that. I'm just saying from a first perspective, I feel like that option should have probably been there versus me having to go in and then make the keys. It just seems a little counterintuitive. So if you're mixing internally, the fact that I have to go back and forth to make changes or to hit cue points, it slows down my workflow. For me personally, not for you. Remember, opinion. Also, because I'm coming from vinyl, I don't look at my computer like a lot of other people do. I'm not a computer starer, I don't do that. So knowing that this top row is for my left deck and this middle row is for my right deck makes it a lot easier for me to keep DJing without having to focus on the computer. Because at this point, I have to hit tab, I gotta look at the screen, I have to make sure that it is the right deck selected. And that just, again, slows down my workflow a little bit. There does appear to be a left and a right pitch control, but it relies on the number plus, which I think is a PC thing, because on my Mac, I don't have a number plus. I'm gonna have to adjust that for the Mac to make it work the way I need to. Clearly, it was designed more for PCs, because all I see in the keyboard shortcuts are Alts and Controls and Shifts. I don't see anything about Command, which means that it's definitely favoring the PC side over the Mac side. Not a big deal, but it's adjustments that I'm gonna need to make in order to make it work the way I need it to. Interface. Now, I know that I said that the interface was god ugly. It's not the greatest. I'm not a big blue and red fan. It just doesn't work for me visually. But you do have other options to add skins. I knew this before. People were quick to say that, but my issue with the skins are, well, at least the default skins. If I click on Get More, and I have all of these options to use, they're just not designed professionally. I mean, there's a lot of like realistic looking skins. Like here's one right here. This is the Virtually Pioneer. Let's download it and let's see what it looks like. Okay, so this, I don't need this. This doesn't work for me. I don't need it to look like a controller. I have a controller. It's right here. I don't need it to look like the controller that I'm using. That's old school. That's like iPhone, you know, when they used to do their skeuomorphism, when they would make like a notepad look like an actual notepad, or, you know, a clock look like a clock. You know, we're past that now. This is, in all honesty, one of the reasons that people, you know, have issues with Virtual DJ when they make fun of them, because it's skins like these that says, I'm not really a professional. Don't take it personal. I'm just telling you the way I feel. It's just an opinion. Okay, so let's get out of this thing and go back to 2 decks. And I'm gonna tell you this right now, going from that Pioneer one to this one, this thing looks beautiful, beautiful. So let's just look at another one just in case. Let's go to Get More, and let's see what's recommended. So this is an editor's pick, old school it is, and records. Okay, I'm not going to go on anymore, but you see what I'm saying. Now, I believe there is a Serato skin if you really wanted to go out and use and feel like Serato. I think it's in there. It's not built into their normal ones. Obviously, I understand why. But there is a Serato skin apparently floating around. But let's just go back to Virtual DJ skin. Let's just go back to the default, because it's so much better now that I look at these. Let's get out of here. So much better. There is a side list where you can place your music. It's basically a prepare folder, and it's one of my favorite things about Serato that it has a prepare folder, because I need to be able to throw songs in, requests, or things that I just want to play temporarily and not think about anymore. Well, you need to have some sort of a list. Rekordbox doesn't have a prepare folder, so this is really, really important to me, having that ability. Sampler. Okay, I'm not an air horn guy. That's just not me. It's never going to be me. Explosion, siren, let's turn that off. You move over there, you have, which is kind of cool, you have a whole drum kit here, so you can drum along with the music. That's actually kind of cool. In your videos and scratch, well, you have
3, 2, 1.
Okay, and then your famous samples. Okay, alright, so you got a lot of options there if that's your thing. It's definitely not my thing, but if it's your thing, it's already pre-built in there. You don't even have to go out online and try to search out those samples. They're already built in. I'm not going to talk about auto mix right now. That's not my thing. I'm not going to talk about it. But auto mix, basically, if you have things set up in your auto mix folder, as you're playing through, it should just mix right into the next thing, back and forth. So it'll make your life a lot easier. For instance, if you're doing like, dinner music or cocktail hour, where you can throw that auto mix on and it'll just kind of keep playing for you. That's the way I would use it. I can't speak for everybody else. Some people will actually mix using that way. Hey, more power to you, I guess. But as a DJ, I'm gonna actually mix. Okay, so let's take a look at the controller aspects now. I'm gonna go over here, go over to controllers, and we're gonna show compatible controllers. And you have a list of all the possible controllers that they have. Now I have a Pioneer DDJ2 SX2. I click on there, it's got all the mappings right here to the controller itself. So you don't have to do anything, it's already built in on the fly. You just have to tell it which controller you're using. I will say this though, home use is free. If you want to buy the software for your controller only, it's $199. If you want to buy the software that gives you access to all of it, it's $299. I don't have a problem with the $299 price. That's kind of the going rate for DJ software, but I do have a kind of an issue with the high price it is for one controller. $199 is kind of high in my book. I would have thought it would have gone like, $99 for one controller. It really just makes you buy the more expensive version because you want access to everything. So I would have said the one controller unit should only have been $100 maximum. That way, if you buy another one and you never wanted to buy the unlimited, well, it's only going to cost you another $100. But in this way, you buy one at $199. If you get another controller, you got to buy another one at $199. And now you're actually paying more than just getting it outright. I didn't buy it outright. $19 a month is a good try before you buy. So we have access to that, and now we're set up. Also, within the options, the payment options, you can opt for the music from their iDJ pool, which is $9.99 a month. I'm not going to get into that. I'm going to assume they just have all the music just like everybody else, Tidal, SoundCloud, DJ City, or Beat Junkies. I'm not really going to get into that. That's another video. I'm sure there's already somebody out there who's done it. Then you have your karaoke for $20 a month, which will give you access to all the karaoke tracks. That's actually a really good deal because I've seen it really, really expensive. So that's a good deal. And then your video for $49.99 a month for VJ Pro. That's a little high, to be honest with you. I am unsure that since I have the $19 Pro option, if it's giving me everything or not. I think that might be an add-on. I'm not really sure. So if you know that one, just leave it in the comments below. Another cool thing that it has is this remote feature. And this allows you to mix from your iPad or your iPhone or your Android device. Not that it's really cool, but I can see where that would be a really, really good option. Say, for instance, you're one man and you're doing a grand entrance for a wedding and you walk out to the middle of the floor so you can get everybody's attention and you're talking to the crowd, but now you need to play that song to introduce the bridal party. Well, if it's me and I'm using like a Serato, well, I got to get out there, I got to talk to them, then I got to run back, I got to hit play. Then I'll probably just stay there. But it'd be really cool if you could have it in your phone and then just, ladies and gentlemen, the bridal party, hit play, song starts playing, you can go right into that to the grand entrance song, right into that to the first dance. So that's really, really cool. Let's get back to the controller. When I opened up the controller, you just plugged in your DDJ SX2 and you want to use the sound card for it, which I do. Now, as you can see here on my keypad, for the two songs that were already in there, you got all the cue points that are already selected and the cue points on this side. All right, the cue points feel good. Okay, so my break. So right off the bat, obviously the break that's in my Serato is no longer there, it's just a stop. So I'm gonna have to set that one up to when I hit it, it actually does the break the way I like it. Okay, I'm not a big fan of the fact that when I hit the cue point, it auto plays. I like to be able to just hit my cues and let it stop. So I'm gonna have to change that one out so that doesn't happen. In your effects, I can see right here that my effects knobs are still working properly, at least the one. Okay, so there's my break right there. Okay, I don't like this particular break start. When I turn it on, I want it to break and never come back. When I turn it off, I want it to play the original song. That way I can do quick breaks with it and just add a little effect to it. So let's go over here and click on the software and see if we can edit this. So this link only gives me what my knobs are already giving me. Okay, so not the end of the world. It's just not one that I prefer. I like it to just kind of, see, that would drive me crazy. I have 3 knobs that can be used for effects. So I want to add the rest of these knobs in. So now I got reverb, I got wah-wah, I got the break start. I don't need a reverb, I need an echo. So here's my echo. Let's do a backspin. Let's see. Okay, so here we go. So the joy of having the Serato effects in here is that when they're on, they're on. But when you turn them off, it acts like they don't exist at all. It is definitely not a post-fade effect. It can only be utilized when the volume is on. So again, I prefer to have a post-fade. When that thing kicks in, if I move over here, it's going to keep playing itself out until I turn it off myself, or it follows its natural fade transition. What I don't see is the ability to load from your keyboard. And for me, I spend most of my time loading tracks from the keyboard, not from the controller. I don't have my hands all over the controller as I'm DJing. I'm typing in song, load right from there because my hand's already there, load it up and go from there. That option is not built in by default. You have to actually go in and I'm going to assume set a hotkey for that. But I use my keyboard a lot. I just don't keep my hands on the controller. Plus, depending on what system you're using, the load button is out of the way. So for instance, on a 62, the load button is all the way up to the top. And if you have a DJ case with the slider on it for your keyboard, well, a lot of the times that's blocked. So I can't use that. In this case, obviously I have access to it, but certain ones I'm not going to be able to do that. So having the ability to have the load button on the keyboard is a godsend, and I'm going to have to add that on there to make that work. Let's get a song that's a little slower. Let's do Main Trainer. All right, that's better. Okay, so they're both set to 8. But this one is clearly faster. They're both at 94. So let's put them together and see what happens. Okay, let's try it again. Maybe it's me. I mean, you can clearly hear that it is slower. That's a problem. That is a problem. Let's make an assumption here. Let's say that something is just off. So we're gonna go ahead and reset this real quick. We're gonna close this up. And let's load this back up. And let's go back to no and no. All right, here we go. Starting from scratch. They're both on now. But the faders are set to 94. The faders are set to 94, even though on my controller, they're 2 notches up. So it's disregarding my controller right now. So let's move this back down to 90 to this, and now we see the faders are working. I don't know why that happened, but it's working now. But it did happen for some strange reason. So restarting it seemed to fix the problem. Very odd. Very, very odd. All right. So right off the bat, I don't have any issues with it. So far, it's doing what it needs to do. Besides the glitch here and there, and then also besides the fact that there are some keyboard shortcuts and some things that I would do a little differently that are working against my workflow. It's not bad so far. There's a lot of features in here that make me appreciate what Virtual DJ is doing. It is clear to me now, based upon what I'm seeing here, that a lot of the things that Rekordbox is using for the basis of their layout and the things they do has come 100% from Virtual DJ. Serato, different. But Virtual DJ and Rekordbox feels a little like a clone of Virtual DJ. And what that means to me is, if I buy a controller that is Rekordbox based, and besides the DDJ 1000, which I know that they're still working on because of all the extra things that they have to put in there. But if I buy a controller and it has Rekordbox, if I don't want to use Rekordbox, I know now that I can use Virtual DJ and I can still be productive in what I'm doing. But this is just a first look and a first feel for the application. I'm going to go back in. I'm going to work through it all weekend. I have 2 gigs on Saturday, so I'm going to be working on that, and I will let you know how it works in the field and if I run into any issues. I'm also going to go ahead and go to my S9 and see how it works via turntable, see if there's any issues with that. But so far, it's doing what it's supposed to do with the SX2. I haven't checked the sound as far as how it sounds, as far as how the pitch control and the slower or higher speeds, how they sound in a live setting, if I'm going to get any type of artifacts. Because right now on my Serato, I'm using their pitch and time plugin, so that thing is really, really clean. I can get super, super slow, and it's still gonna sound decent. I don't know about this one yet. We'll test that out in the field this weekend. We'll also test out the iPad functionality, see how that works, and work off the vinyl for a little bit. I might bring to both systems. I'm not really sure. Depends on how much I want to deal with this weekend. All right, guys, that's it for me. If you found what I said here useful, hit that like button. If you found what I really said useful and you want to see the next couple of videos based upon Virtual DJ, Serato's just in my head, sorry. Based upon Virtual DJ, hit that subscribe button, and I'm going to try to stay up on this. I have a couple more videos that I'm posting right now. But guys, if you have anything based upon the video that you want to comment on, go ahead and leave that comment right down below. And I try to check them all. Keep in mind, everything that I say here is just an opinion, and it's just a first user experience. Again, coming from a Serato user that's now trying Virtual DJ. So not everything that you know, I may know at the moment, but I'm a smart guy. I can get through this relatively quickly. So having said that, guys, once again, always a pleasure talking to you guys. And if I don't talk to you later, we'll talk soon. Peace. One more thing, the effects buttons up top on the DDJ SX2 no longer work, so they're not functional. But I could also program those buttons to be other things now because they aren't functional. But just so you know, if you're utilizing the FX2, these top buttons right here do not work.